right, hey guys, John here, and welcome to this new series, the Raw Playthrough series. The idea behind this series is very simple. I grab an amp, I grab a couple of guitars, I grab some pedals, and I just play through the gear. Play with the gear a little bit and just have some light-hearted fun. No full mixes, no double tracking, none of that, no processing. Just my amps through my real cabinet, and that's it. And I honestly hope that you guys will really enjoy this series, as I'd love to make more. So in today's video, we are checking out my RedSeven Amplification Leviathan Joker Edition. This is an amp that is very near and dear to my heart. It's a very special amp to me. It's one of my prized possessions. Built by hand, designed especially for me by the wonderful folks from RedSeven in Italy. And this amp is just so special because it's so personal to me, and also because it's just a really good sounding amplifier. So that is awesome. We're going to have some fun with this amp. Really, we're going to have a lot of fun with this amplifier. Of course, I've done plenty of videos on this amplifier on the channel before, but this is just, you know, a raw playthrough. Now, in terms of the signal chain, the guitars, starting with my Edwards LP-CTM with the Gibson 498T and 490 something in it, is going into my pedals, a Digitech Whammy V limited Thomann edition, the black one, and then into the Laney Steelpark, which is a cool boost pedal, and then into the amplifier. And then the amp is being fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12, my lovely ISO cab that I love a lot. I've loaded up my Celestion Vintage 30 in there, as per usual, basically, because it sounds awesome. Mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt, just to get a more full range and fat sound. That signal is going into the DAW, where I'm applying nothing, basically. So that's the signal chain. For future videos, I'm planning to rotate different guitars and try different pedals and stuff. We're just going to have some fun. That's the idea. Just explore tones and see what my amplifiers have to offer, basically. Now, one quick thing about this amp, the presence and depth controls are on the back. So they're not easy to reach for this video. Just know that presence is set at around 230 and depth at around 130. So I've cranked them up nicely for a nice sweet spot so that this amp sounds really nice. And before we go on, if you enjoy this concept, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to support this channel, please buy something in my affiliate links for Thomann, Sweetwater, or Tube Amp Doctor, or get something in my web store like an IR pack or a Quad Cortex capture pack. I even did one of this amplifier for the Quad Cortex. So yeah, let's get to the good stuff. So right now I am on the red channel, which is the high gain channel, but I want to start on the blue channel, which is channel 1. You can switch the channels with this little switch over here. And this is kind of like your crunch channel. So this amp doesn't really do cleans. We can just, for fun, see how well this amplifier cleans up. So now the gain has been lowered to, let's say, 9 o'clock. Oh, and I totally forgot to mention, I don't know if this is important, but this amp is equipped, let me double check, with 4 KD88. So I think this is either a 100 or 120 watt amplifier, just for the techie dudes out there. Anyway, back to the clean tone. So it's not super clean, as you can hear. It's kind of crunchy. So it's a nice crunch, nice and chimey too, even on the neck pickup, which is usually pretty fat sounding. There's even a bright switch. I think it's off right now. Let me check. Yeah, so with this amp, it's kind of on the subtle side, but you can definitely notice it, especially in terms of the volume. So that's off. And that's on, I think, anyway. Either way, sounds fine. I'm just going to leave it off because I like the sound with this guitar with it off. All right, so once you start to crank the gain on this channel, you can get some really nice sort of more classic rock. I have gain at 130-ish right now. Let's see how much gain we can get out of this channel without the hot switch, because this amp has a hot switch. Let's see. So it's a nice and fat distortion, right? Does remind me of a JCM 800 somewhat. Let's see what happens if we boost this. Right now I have it dialed in for a more modern tone, so it might be a little bit too clangy. And that definitely tightens the tone up. Now let's enable the hot switch for more gain. Let me lower the gain a little bit too. That is one nice, fat, and thick tone. I think I've said this in my review too, but it just has a nice texture, right? Really cool. We're gonna try that with the boost pedal up front in a second. First, let me mess with the EQ a little bit so you guys can hear how the controls react. So that bass control is really responsive. Wonderful. Let's try the middle control. Wow, that is one powerful mid control. Awesome. It's great to have a lot of range on tap there. And finally, the treble control. Cool, so that's a great usable range on those controls. Very musical sounding too. I love that. Let's enable the boost and see how heavy we can get with this channel. Sweet, very tight. Let's lower the mids and bump up the bass a little bit for that boost. Damn, that is heavy. Let's bump up the treble a little bit. Without the boost. Yeah, so that's a very nice and thick, crunchy channel with plenty of gain on tap that you can definitely boost for a more modern tone. That is for sure. Really nice. Now let's switch back to the red channel, my favorite channel because it's the high gain channel, right? And let's see where we're at in terms of the volume. Man, that is just like an instant gratification tone right there, right? So in order to get my tone out of this channel, what I'm doing is I'm bumping up the treble here, which really opens up the amplifier. Let's see what happens if we lower that control. So yeah, for my tone, the tone that I like out of this amplifier with plenty of clarity, I definitely like bumping up that treble control. Let's quickly try the bass and the middle controls as well. Yeah, so those are similar in response in comparison to the blue channel, right? Let's try the gain control just to see what sort of range of gain we have on tap here. Starting at my current setting, which is like 230-ish. So it's always a gainy channel. When you turn down the gain, it's going to become a bit more tight and bright. But that really helps with the articulation if you add more gain, if you know what I mean. I like mine at, say, 230-ish, right? Let's lower it a little bit and check out the bright switch once again. It's off right now, I think. So a lot of times with amplifiers, I prefer bright switches on. For some reason with this amplifier, I think it sounds fine with it off. So let's raise the gain up a little bit. And let's try my whammy. I have it set on the harmony mode with 1 octave below and 1 octave up. And let's see how that sounds, okay? That's cool. Let's try the boost now and see how tight and modern we can get with this channel. Let me bump up the bass already and lower the mids a little bit. That is so tight. That is so tight and modern. With this amplifier and this guitar, I prefer it off, at least with this tuning. We're going to try some different tunings later in this video, but I think this sounds great. You know, for a more standard-ish tuning, I think this guitar is tuned to drop C sharp right now, which is kind of my standard, right? All right, so now I'm going to switch to another guitar. All right, I just grabbed my ESP LTV Phoenix Black Metal from the rack. This is my stock one, which has the Fishman Fluence modern pickup in it. Bridge pickup only. It sounds something like this on the active voicing, so voice 1. Very modern. This one is tuned to drop C, so it's 1/2 step lower. If we switch to the passive voicing, it's going to sound a bit more fat and thick. Because with the Fishmans on voice 1, it usually already sounds as if it's boosted by a pedal. So let's try the boost once again. That is quite heavy. I think if I were to use voice 1 with that boost, it's going to be a bit too tight for my taste. That's a little bit too genty for me, if you know what I mean. Let's try the whammy again. I switched to another setting with my foot there. Anyway, that sounded great. So this guitar for modern metal and stuff works really well with this amplifier as well. Either boosted or unboosted, depending on the voicing. So if we're on voice 1, definitely unboosted. Plenty of tightness there. Really nice. Let's switch to one other guitar, something more extended range. All right, so this is a guitar that I haven't grabbed off the rack in a while. This is my Schecter C6 Baritone. It's a 30-inch 6-string baritone with 2 EMGs in it, and it's tuned to drop F sharp right now. Let's see how this beast sounds through the red channel with no boost. So that doesn't sound bad at all. The EMGs aren't super hot in this guitar. We could turn up the gain a little bit to give it a bit more power and oomph. I think that for this guitar, we're going to need to use the boost. Let me raise the bass up a little bit, lower the mids. And let's see what happens if we enable the boost. Yeah, that sounds pretty brutal. Just for fun, let's go back to channel 1 and with the hot switch on and see how it sounds on that channel. Yeah, so for the brutal stuff, I definitely prefer the red channel here. That is like a modern metal guitarist's dream right there, right? So that sounds really good. So despite this amp not having a dedicated clean channel, I still think that it's quite versatile. Anything gainy, basically. You know, low gain, chimey crunch, fat and thick crunch, everything in between, and some brutal high gain tones there. Very articulate and just wonderful. I love it. What's not to love, right? What a cool amplifier. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, in the comments, let me know what you thought of this whole video concept and what you thought of this amplifier. I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.